Hi, welcome. Today we have a 30-minute gentle flow that is all about happy hips. We're gonna get real deep into our hips today. This class is gonna move slowly, steadily, carefully, and we're gonna spend some time hanging out in some postures to loosen up those joints. You might want a set of blocks or maybe a cushion if you need a little bit of support if your hips are particularly tight, but if you don't, you can still make this class work. All right, let's do it. We're gonna start flat on our backs today. So come onto your back, get nice and comfy. If it feels okay to have the soles of your feet together, then get the soles of your feet together and your knees out wide. If that's too much, just plant your feet right on the ground. Soles of your feet together, knees wide. One hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. Settle in here. Allow yourself to just breathe. Give yourself this opportunity to rest your mind, rest your thoughts. And if you feel the need to really give yourself permission to take a little break here, acknowledge that now. Okay, here's where I get to take a break. You don't have to go over your to-do lists. You don't have to go over your goals. All you have to do is take this opportunity to send some breath deep into your hips, deep into those areas of your body where you need a little love. Take a deep breath in, cleansing exhale. And another deep breath in, so big that you can feel your hands rising underneath your chest and underneath your belly. Keep up those breaths for a few more breaths. One more big, huge inhale. One more cleansing exhale. And let your breath kind of settle back down a little bit. Lift up your knees, walk your feet out to the very edges of your mat. So your feet are a little bit wider than hip distance. And then just gently start to wake things up in your low back and in your joints. Just let your knees windshield wiper from side to side. You can even lift your hips or lift your bum off the ground a little bit so that see if that inside knee can come almost all the way down to the earth. No reason to move through this quickly, nice and slow. And stop right there, heel toe those feet in so now they are hip distance apart. Extend your left leg out nice and long. Draw your right knee into your chest. Pull that knee into your chest. Roll that ankle out a little bit, both directions. Let your right knee fall open to the side. Keep hold of it, hang on to it. Just as far as it feels good. Then draw it back to center and let your right knee cross over your body. Lift your right hip up off the ground. You can send your right arm out to the side or out in an L shape. Draw your right knee back in and switch. Left knee comes in. Hold it here for just a second. Roll out those ankles. Let that left knee fall open. Keep your left hand there to support it. It doesn't have to be floating out in space unsupported. Left knee back into the chest now, crosses over your body. Left arm can come to a goalpost. Draw your left knee back into your chest. And both knees into your chest. Hands on your knees, make big hip circles, one direction. And switch, other direction. And And draw those knees into your chest, feet up towards the sky, and maybe rock and roll just a couple times on a nice rounded spine until you come all the way up to seated, cross at the ankles, and come over onto your hands and knees into a tabletop position. Moving through my favorite, cat and cow. Cow first, drop your belly, lift your tailbone, draw your shoulder blades down your back and together, lift your chin. And as you exhale, switch the motion. Round your spine up to the sky, tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone, spread your shoulder blades apart on your back. And back to cow. Breath in and back to cat. Breath out. One more, into cow and out to cat. Now move here a little bit. Figure out whatever you need. Move through some cat-cows, but maybe you add a twist. Maybe you hold it in one spot. Maybe you move forward and backward a little bit. Maybe you roll out your neck. Just play here. Decide where you're feeling tight, where you're feeling good. Come to a neutral spine, nice and strong. Imagine the crown of your head reaching toward the front of the room as your tailbone reaches towards the back of the room. Tuck your toes and lift your hips up high, downward facing dog. Your heels are coming towards the floor. They might not get there today. They might not ever get there. I do not have a prize for you if your heels reach the ground. So don't get too worried about that. Breathe here. You can bend your knees one at a time, wiggle your bum, gaze under one armpit or the other. Inhale and look up to that spot right in between your two thumbs and walk your feet slowly that direction, but step your right foot to your right pinky, left foot to left pinky. Rotate your feet out a little bit, so maybe your toes are hanging off your mat. Drop your hips all the way down into Malasana. Now, Malasana can look different for a lot of people. So if this is just not doing it for you, if this isn't comfortable, maybe you're up on your toes. Maybe you're seated on a block or a cushion or a pillow. That's okay too. If you're comfy, you can settle in here, hands to heart center. Use those hands to press your elbows into your knees, spreading the knees apart. You can sway a little bit from side to side. You can reach your fingertips out towards the front of the direction your toes are facing. Take one more breath in. As you exhale, plant your hands in the middle of your mat. Gently lift your hips up. Heel toe your feet underneath your shoulders. Release your neck. Grab opposite elbows. Sway from side to side. Maybe even interlace your fingers and place them at the nape of your neck just to provide a little more weight. Drop your hands down to the mat and we'll roll up one vertebrae at a time, really gently all the way up. Until the last thing is your head landing right on top of your spine. We'll do one sun salutation. Breathe in, arms up. Exhale, hands to prayer. Come all the way to a forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift, fingertips at your toes or hands on your shins, that strong number 7 shape. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to your high plank. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, lower your belly, elbows point back, 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 back. Lower your belly all the way down to the earth. Release your forehead, release your toes. Inhale, lift that chest up into this baby cobra. Gaze a few feet ahead of your mat. And exhale, forward fold all the way back down. Tuck your toes, press back to a tabletop position, and lift your hips all the way up, downward facing dog. Breath in here. And breath out. Breath in. And as you exhale, drop your knees. Walk your knees out a little bit wide. toes together, press your hips back, child's pose. Rest here for a few breaths. Let your hips grow heavier and heavier, sinking down towards your heels. Press yourself back up to a tabletop position and tuck your toes, find downward facing dog. Now we're going to move through a sequence that's going to be slow and steady. We'll just do it once through on each side. It'll be nice and gentle, and some of these things will hold for a little bit longer to really get into those hips. So we'll start by lifting your right leg up, three-legged dog. Flex your foot, press your heel up towards your crown molding. Draw your knee into your nose and step your right foot to your right pinky. Drop your left knee. Now you can stay right here. This is the beginning of lizard. Option number one, you stay right here. Option number two, you can bring your forearms down to the earth or down to blocks. Let your right knee fall out towards the right side of the room. So you're on the pinky side of that right foot. You can leave your back toes tucked or untucked. You decide what feels better. The other option, if this is enough or this is a piece of cake and you need a little more, you can take your right hand to your right knee, add a tiny bit of pressure, don't overdo it, gaze up over your right shoulder. Now you listen to your body. So if I provide an option that does not sound good to you, don't take it. But one more option that you have, if you have the space in your body, is to bend your back leg, reach back with your right hand and grab onto that left back foot. Gazing up over your right shoulder, your right knee continues to fall out. Relax so that your hips maybe sink a little bit deeper towards the ground. And if you can't relax, then back off a little bit. Take off one of the options that I've provided. Maybe plant your hands into the earth. Take one more breath in. And as you exhale, if your hands aren't already planted, plant those hands. Lift up, press into those hands, start to engage your core, engage your glutes, engage your left quad so that you lift. Heel toe your right foot back into the center line of your body and lift your back knee. From here, we're going to move into Skandasana. So walk both hands over to the left, point your right toes a little bit forward, come all the way up so your left toes are pointing up at the sky, and we're in this side squat. Now, similar to Malasana, this looks different in a lot of people's bodies. Some people prefer to have their heel off the ground and their weight in the ball of their foot. I sink all the way back onto my whole foot. Another option, you can sit on a block or a cushion here. So hang out here. You want your left toes pointing up at the sky. You can have your hands down. You can be down on your forearms if you have this space. You can take your right arm and extend it, pressing your tricep into the inside of that right knee. Take a breath here. Wherever you're at, bring your fingertips down in front of you and gently send your weight back so that you are sitting. Hands can come to heart or overhead. Take a breath in here. Now as you exhale, turn towards your left foot. Drop that right knee down so you're closing that hip down. Now turn back to the side, open that hip up, and we'll do it again. Turn towards your left foot, close that hip down. Back toward the right, open up. One more time. Turn toward the left, close your hip, and back towards the right, open it up. Use your hands, plant them on the ground, maybe one behind you, to push your weight up, back into Skandasana. Walk your hands over to the front of your mat. Come up high on the ball of your back foot. Straighten both legs, pressing into the ball of your back foot. Front foot's flat on the ground. Gently fold over that front leg to get into that hamstring a little bit here. Fingertips just along either side of your right foot. You can come down to your hands if you have the space in that hamstring. Hands up on blocks is also an option. And if you feel like your front kneecap is gonna pop out the back of your leg, add a little micro bend in that front leg. Take one more breath in. As you breathe out, bend your right leg, push off your back leg. Fingertips are still on the ground, maybe at the top corners of your mats. We're coming into a standing split. The key here, keep your hips closed, meaning your left hip is staying even with your right hip. Just for a minute. I know we all want to send that toe way up to the ceiling and open our hips, and we'll do that in just a second. One more breath in. Now, open up your hip. Stack your left hip on top of your right. Bend your left knee. Maybe your left heel falls towards your bum. Your left knee maybe is pointing right up at the ceiling. Release the tension in your neck. Take a breath in. And we're going to go right back the way we came. Re-straighten that leg. Close your hips down. Left hip even with your right. Your lifted leg will drop. That's okay. Now press into your fingertips. Maybe find a little bit of a bend in your right leg. Lift your chest into Warrior 3. Just for a brief minute here. And now we're gonna exhale, bend your right leg, drop your left toe down to the earth. Windmill your arms all the way open, left foot comes parallel to the back of your mat. Get yourself adjusted, moving into Warrior 2. So your right knee stacked right over your right ankle. Your left foot's parallel to the back of your mat. Shoulders are right over your hips. Brief minute here, moving into extended side angle. Right arm, right knee. Your chest stays nice and open. If your chest is collapsing, if you're bending towards the ground, then pull your right arm back a little bit so you have more space. Keeping that chest open towards the side of the room. Left arm reaches up. Maybe your left arm reaches over. The breath in. And breath out. Squeeze your right glute. Lift everything back to Warrior 2. Straighten your front leg. Woo! Reach your right arm toward the front of the room. Toward. When you can't reach your right arm forward any further, drop your right hand to the inside of your ankle. Left arm reaches up into triangle. Your right hand can also be on a block or on the ground if you have that capability. One more breath in and breath out. Rebend that right knee. Plant your hands around either side of your right foot, ball of the back foot. And from here, step back to high plank. Take one big breath and exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath in and breath out. Drop to your knees, send them wide, toes together, into child's pose. While you're here and in child's pose, take a quick second to evaluate how does the right side of your body feel versus the left before we get into that other side. One last breath here. Press back up to tabletop. Tuck your toes. Find downward facing dog. And we'll do the other side. So inhale, lift your left leg up. Three-legged dog. And as you exhale, left foot, left pinky. Drop your back knee down. Moving into lizard. You can stay right here just like this. Your next option, let your left knee fall outside, coming onto the pinky edge of your left foot. Next option, lower to your forearms, either on blocks or all the way to the floor. Next option, use that left hand to press that left knee open just gently. And last option, bend your back leg, reach back, grab it with the left arm, gazing over that left shoulder. Stay here for a few breaths. Plant your left hand and plant your right hand. Again, activate that right glute, that right quad, so you lift up as you heel toe your left foot back into center. Lift your back knee. Now walk your hands over to the right and point your left toes out to the top corner of your mat. Your right toes point up to the ceiling into Skandasana. Options with your arms here. Again, at heart, spread out in front of you with your fingertips down. You choose here. Take one more breath in, set your fingertips right in front of you, and as you exhale, drop all the way to your bum so you're seated. Arms can reach up or maybe be at your heart, and close your left knee down to the earth, looking over that right leg. And open it back up, and close it back down. Open up, close it down. Last time, open up. Maybe one hand plants behind you. Lift your chest up back into Skandasana. Take a breath in. And exhale, walk your hands over that front knee. Come onto the back, the ball of your back foot. Take a breath in here and straighten both legs. Folding over that front leg, press into the ball of your back foot. Get your back heel nice and high. Add a little micro bend to your front knee if it's feeling a little hyperextended. Breath in and breath out. Find a little bit of a bend in your front knee. Press off your back foot, moving into standing splits. Fingertips at the top corner of your mat. Now here your hips are square. Try and keep your right hip even with your left, which probably means that your lifted leg won't be as high as you'd love. Take one more breath in, and as you exhale, now open up your hips. Right hip stacks on top of left. Bend your heel back to your bum. Maybe your knee is able to point higher up at the ceiling. Even weight in your fingertips. Breath in here. Breath out, straighten your front leg. Drop your right knee back down to meet your left. Closing those hips back up. Add a little tiny bend in your front leg so you can lift your chest up. Moving into Warrior 3, we're just passing through. Bend your left leg. Drop your right ball of your foot to the back of your mat. Windmill your arms open. Set up in Warrior 2. Your back foot's parallel to the back of your mat. Hips stacked over your shoulders, under your shoulders. Breath in and extended side angle. Left arm comes to your left knee. Chest stays square to the side of the room. And inhale and exhale. Back up to Warrior 2. Straighten your front leg. Reach your fingertips forward. Moving into triangle. Left hand drops towards the inside of your left ankle. Reach your right arm up. One more breath in. And one more breath out. Inhale, Warrior 2, find a little bend in that front knee. Windmill your hands down, come up high on the ball of your back foot. Step your left foot back to meet your right. And come into downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. All right, one more short and gentle sequence on each side. We got to get some pigeon in here. Inhale, lift your right leg up. This time as you exhale, bend your right leg. Take your right knee behind your right wrist and set your right shin somewhere between a 45-degree angle or parallel to the front of the mat, wherever feels good. Shift your left foot back a little bit so that your weight stays nice and centered in the middle of your body. Untuck your back toe. If you're starting to roll over to the right, then get a block or a blanket to put underneath your right booty. Once you're centered in the center of your body, you can stay just like this, lifted and proud. Hands can plant, or you can come down to your forearms, or you can come all the way down, forehead to the mat. And we'll stay here for several breaths to really get in there. One last breath in. Start to lift up your chest. From here, your hands planted, lean over to the right, like way over. Swing your left leg all the way out and around until your left ankle plants outside of your right knee. Reach your arms up, twist over to the left. Left fingertips can plant behind you. You can either hug your front knee, or if you can take it a little further, hook your elbow on the outside of that front knee. Keeping that lifting shape. Imagine you're lifting from the crown of your head. So you don't want to be hunched over and twisting. Lift, 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 lift. Stack all of your ribs one on top of the other. Draw in those floating ribs. And you can gaze back over your left shoulder. Last breath in. And as you exhale, release it. Come back to center. Now take your bottom leg and line it up so it's parallel to the front of your mat. Take your top leg. Your ankle is stacked right over your bottom knee. And it's also parallel. I'll turn so you can see this here. So your bottom leg, parallel to the front of your mat. Top leg, parallel to the front of your mat. Ankle stacked on top of knee, knee stacked on top of ankle. Now you can see here, my knee is floating way up high here in space. That's okay. This is the way my body's built. And with time and with extra work on my hips, this gets a lot better. But it's okay. If you have all this space like me, an option is to put a block here, or a cushion or a pillow of some kind. Maybe some of you are completely stacked flat. That's okay too. So you stay here. Again, find that tall shape, growing tall from the crown of your head. And if you have extra space, and if this is an easy one for you, it's not for me, you can walk your fingertips forward and start to fold into this shape, keeping that core engaged and that back nice and flat. So you don't want to hunch over this shape. Keep that chest lifted and fold into it if you have the space. I like to stay a little further back. This is a little bit more comfortable for me. Ease into it. This is called double pigeon or fire log pose, which feels appropriate for me. This is a tough one for my body. Just gently walk back wherever you're at. Lean back just a little bit. Untuck both legs. Plant your feet on the ground and windshield wipe your legs from side to side. And we will do the other side. So don't think too hard about it. Come back to downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up, three-legged dog. Left knee comes behind left wrist. Set that leg up somewhere to 45-ish. Slide your weight back, untuck your back toe, get your weight nice and centered over the middle of your body. And then stay here, either hands planted, forearms can come down, forehead can come down. Last breath in, exhale, start to lift your weight up, plant those hands, lean way over to the left, slide that right foot all the way around until your right foot hooks outside of your left knee. Arms reach up, twist over to the right, right fingers drop behind you, Hug the front leg or hook the elbow. Lift up tall, gaze over your right shoulder. Gently release that. Come back to center. I'll turn towards you again. Take that bottom leg parallel to the front of your mat. Top leg parallel to the front of your mat. Ankle over knee, knee over ankle. Again, if you've got a big space here, you can put something there if that helps you feel supported. And start by lifting. Squeeze those glutes. You'll feel yourself lift for just a minute. Even if then you relax those glutes, you can hang on to that lifted position in your spine. And gently start to fold over if you have some space, if that feels good. Start to walk your fingertips back and unwind those feet. Plant them out in front of you, just about hip distance, maybe a little wider. Lean back into your hands and windshield wiper those legs from side to side. Come back to center and come all the way down onto your back. Send your feet up towards the ceiling, moving into our last posture, happy baby. Grab the outsides of your feet, or maybe your big toes, or the backs of your thighs. And just rest here. Let your knees draw down towards your armpits alongside your ribs. You can sway from side to side. You can straighten one leg. You can straighten the other. Draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself one last hug. And set up in Shavasana. Let your feet reach wide on either side of your mat. Let your toes fall away from your body. Palms can be face up. Arms away from your body. Take a few moments here to honor the time that you took to spend on your body today and the accomplishment that it can be to carve that time out of your day. And I'll get your attention back after a few minutes to finish class. Gently start to bring some movement back to your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Roll onto your favorite side in the fetal position. Press yourself all the way up to seated. You can keep your eyes closed if that feels okay. Draw your hands to heart center, pressing your thumbs into your heart. in honor of your unique spirit. We'll take one more collective inhale together and exhale. The light in me honors and sees the light in you. Namaste. Thank you for being here. I'll see you back next time. Click the link below in the description and sign up for my email list so we can stay in touch and I can give you all sorts of special yoga treats.